Calculating areas and probabilities can be done with the chart, or it can be done using a calculator, more specifically a TI-84 calculator. But it always starts by using the formula for z-score to calculate the z-score. You have to input a z-score into a calculator and then convert it to an area or probability. Just like the chart does, the calculator will do it as well. And the chart's great if you just need to find an area below or above. Below you just look at the number that you find in the chart. If you want to do above, you would just do the negative version of that. And if it's already negative, you do the positive version. So that actually can be very quick. The way you do it on a TI-84 is you hit second and then the variables button, which means you're really accessing the distribution. So second distribution, it'll open up this menu. And you're going to want to select the second one called Normal CDF, which stands for Normal Cumulative Distribution Function. So once you do that, it opens up this menu, and it asks you for a lower and upper value, the mean, the standard deviation, and then paste is when you're done. Now, the lower is currently set in the calculator. If you've never done it before, it'll say -1 e to the 99th, which is really saying negative infinity. You can just use 1,000 or -1,000, The z-score is calculated again from this formula, and this is set up right now to do a lower. If you wanted to do an upper, if you wanted to find above 1.5, you'd put 1.5 in the lower, and the upper would be positive 1,000 or positive 1,000,000 or positive 1e to the 99th. I wouldn't change these at this point in your understanding of how this works. Maybe later in a more advanced statistics class, you would change those. You hit paste and hit enter, and it will bring up this, and you hit enter one more time, and it will find that number, which represents the area or the probability found in the chart. So it's pretty straightforward. The benefit of the calculator is if you ever had to find the area between two values, you would just put them in here. So let's say you wanted to know the area from the mean to 1.5. You just put 0, 1.5. Hit enter, and it would do that. Let's say you wanted to find between -1.5 and 1.5, it would do that as well. So that's how you do it on an 84 or an 84 color or whichever version you have. Unfortunately, Casio's don't really have this CDF. It doesn't have a distribution menu, though there may be a newer one that does. At least the ones that I've seen don't, but I'm sure eventually they'll have one. Now, that being said, there's a website called Desmos that is continually updated, so we're really kind of moving to that. And to do this, you actually go to the graphing calculator, not the scientific calculator. The scientific calculator is for like science class and doesn't include statistical information. That's going to be in the graphing calculator, believe it or not, because we're actually graphing. Remember, what we're really doing is we're analyzing something under the normal curve, and it will actually graph a picture of that, which is really neat. So how do you do that? Well, you open the graphing calculator, and then within the graphing calculator, what you do is you toggle the keyboard. And when you toggle the keyboard, right here, you hit functions. And then you go to distribution, just like you did on the TI calculator. You hit second distribution. Here you're hitting functions distribution. And you select the normal distribution function right here. Once you do that, please make sure you click Find the Cumulative Probability CDF. And in here, so within this portion right here is where you can actually put infinity in this. So negative infinity, and then you would go up to your z-score here. So you'd put the 1.5 there. Now, as a default, it's going from negative infinity to infinity, which tells you that it has an area of 1, which is the definition of the normal curve. If you wanted to find something above it, what you would do is you'd put your z-score here, and then you would leave this at infinity. And if you wanted to find something between the two values, you would simply put your negative, like -1 here and 2 there, and it would tell you the amount of area between those values. And it will even print a graph for you right here. If you go to settings and change this is the wrench or the settings, and you need to change the axes because, Desmos has all kinds of wild axes that it will come up with. So if you go into the wrench and set the x-axis from like -5 to 5 or maybe -4 to 4, and the y-axis you want to set from -1 to 1, you definitely want the 1 there because of the fact that this is equal to 1, and it makes it come out pretty nice. It'll actually print the graph of what you're doing, which is awesome that it does that to help you understand, to make sure, did you do what you thought you were doing. So, the calculators are great, especially, having an updated one like Desmos, and we're going to look at them again for another feature.